Alright guys, this is the new Aurora DSP KOBRAA plugin, and it's basically an high gain amplifier based on the Framus Cobra. Today I'm gonna show you, of course, the sound of the plugin, and later I'll also compare to the real amplifier because I have in my studio. So as you probably know, there are some slightly differences between different build of the real amplifier, the Cobra amplifier, and also my amplifier has also been modded aftermarket. So I'll show you also the differences because there are some slight difference. This video is not sponsored by Aurora DSP. I have access to the Aurora DSP plugin for free, so I've seen that has been released this review and I wanted to try out. So I went to my account, I downloaded, and now I'm trying out this plugin. So no one is paying me, no one is told me how to run the video. I was only curious about this plugin. So as you can see, the plugin is very simple, and it's also strange because it's narrowed, so it's really cool to use in your iPhone. I don't know if it's possible to use in iPhone anyway. It's a vertical plugin. As you can see, we have three main tabs, which are the three main channels. Toxic is the clean channel, and as you can see, we have a white and black sort of GUI. Then we have lethal, which is the crunch channel of the real amplifier, and then we have fatal, which is the lead channel of the real amplifier. When you switch between toxic, lethal, and fatal, also the other kind of switches will change the behavior. As you can see, we have two main switches. We have the scream and we have the bite. The two switches behave differently if you are in the toxic, in lethal, or in fatal channel. And what I really like about this plugin is that when you create something, let's say I want the volume like this, I want the effects like this, I want the bite on, I want mid like this. In the toxic, if I switch to lethal, as you can see, will not be recalled the output or the equalization or the switches if the switches are on or not. So you can create your kind of presets inside the presets. So that's really cool because, you know, the clean channel maybe need more volume compared to the lead channel, and you can do that. So you can go to toxic, as you can see, it's recalled my output. If you go to lethal, it's recalled the output and everything. So that's really cool without creating different presets. If you go here and go and save presets and so on and so forth in your DAW or in standalone mode, has been recorded inside. So it's really cool because you can use these three channels as it is. You load the plugin and you can use it also for your live performance. That's really, really cool. So moving on, you have the gate, really, really cool to use it. And that's why I like also the recalling, because I don't need the gate in the clean channel, so I can place it 0. If I go to lethal, there is no more. Okay. So the gate is not recalled. That's strange. That's strange. Maybe it's because it's a bug? I don't know. I prefer to have also the recalling on of the gate. There are just a bit things that I'll address in a moment that I don't like about this plugin. Okay, then as you can see, we have the equalization. We have the low, mid, high, and higher, which is the high frequencies. And then we have the impulse response. So you can go on with the impulse response. You have this slider to go from poison to venom. You have basically two impulse responses for free inside. I personally don't like these impulse responses, and I show you also with my own custom impulse responses. If you are interested to purchase custom impulse responses, you have the link in the description of my own impulse responses. A bit of marketing. I discovered, sadly, that this let's say this GUI, this symbol, is the gain. And as you can see, you can turn, it becomes white, so no gain. And you can turn clockwise and you have full gain. That's really cool. I really like it. Then at the end, you have also effects. So you can go to effects page and you have two effects, the shimmer and the delay. They are really strange because what I don't like is that the shimmer is very cool, but is too much. You cannot control the shimmer. And you can only control how much you want, and basically in 2% for me is enough. So I can show you without the delay. Let's say this is my lethal amplifier, so the crunch amplifier. how much reverb? It's too much, 2%. And if I go up, it's really too much. It's uncontrollable. I don't like this because I like the shimmer. I really love the sound of the shimmer. But it's really too much. I want to have control of the length because it's very long, and with only the mix it's a pity. So maybe with a new update I prefer to have more control on the shimmer. Talking about the delay instead is not really a pure delay. It's a delay, and in my opinion also with phaser or flanger, something like that. So let's listen. Anyway, I like this, but I prefer to have a separated phaser and delay to have more control. So this is the plugin. Really simple, as you can see. We have, of course, the tuner. Here we have the possibility to place in mono, license, and so on and so forth. Now, let me show you the sound of the plugin. You have the low end, mids, if I engage the bite, I think is something like the bright. Or scream is basically more gain, and you can get the crunch tone. Let's change the impulse response from poison, venom, poison is more boxy, while venom is just a bit scooped. Let's engage, let's go down with the gain. Effects, shimmer, uncontrollable. Anyway, let's go now to the most important channel, lethal and fatal. So, noise, let's go with the gate here. Oh, there is no impulse response, sorry. Let's disengage the delay. So, no effect. Let's start with all at the noon. So, with very low amount of gain. No scream, no bite. It's basically clean. More gain. Full gain. Let's engage the scream. The bite. The bite here adds more gain. Poison impulse response, Venom. The Venom remembers me a bit the album Venom from Bullet for My Valentine, the sound of that guitar. I remember that the Framus Cobra is a really difficult amplifier to tweak because can be really extreme, especially if you use the switches, so the notch here. You can really create super scooped sound that is basically unusable, or super bright sound that is unusable. So it's a really super sensitive amplifier, and you have to understand it. Let's now listen the here. I'm feeling that this plugin sounds too clean, too pure compared to the real amplifier. The real amplifier will be with much more harmonics, would be messier, messier, would be a mess. Anyway, if you don't tweak very, very well. Let's go now to Fatal, and here is the lead channel. Let's start with very, very low amount of gain, and with impulse response, of course. Let's say in the middle. More gain. As you can listen, the sound is totally different compared to the previous Lethal. The previous Lethal was warmer. There is much more going on in the highs. Of course, I have to match with the gain. Scream. Now, let me show you the bite. The bite here is totally different than the bite on the previous. I think the bite is basically the notch switch, and here we'll add more open sound, lot of open sound with the bite. Without. With. Okay, now let's listen something with the effects. Very low amount of shimmer, some bit of delay. This is basically the Cobra. Now, let me show you the differences between the plugin and the real amplifier, and I'll let you listen, of course, with the same impulse response. So I disengage this impulse response, and I engage my own impulse response, which is here, and I'll show you, is basically a green beret, which is basically impulse response from, I don't know if you can see, my red custom impulse response is basically a WGS with the S Electronics R1, which is a ribbon microphone, and that's a really cool kind of impulse response. If you're interested, you have the pack link down below. To Fatal. Listen this low end. Okay, let's compare the two amplifiers. So let's compare the crunch channel. So basically the settings are almost the same. So let's try out to create the same sort of sound. Of course, I don't have the gate on the real amplifier. It's a bit noisy. Anyway, this is the plugin. Real amp. I'm at the maximum amount of gain here on the real amplifier, so here there is much more gain, maybe because there is this scream, which is, I think, outside from the Cobra. Plugin. There is much more harmonics on the super high frequencies on the real amp, as you can listen, even if the here is at the maximum. A bit more low end, let's say. If you want to compare only the amplifier without the impulse response, will be a mess. Anyway, this is the real amp. Cobra. Let's say, in my opinion, really pretty similar, considering that this is also a modded amplifier, and there are also slightly difference between different builds, and also the notch here has been just a bit modded in the way that you can use them, because this would be a really difficult amplifier to use with the notch, will be too sculpted or too open the sound, that would be unusable. This has been modded in the way that will be gentle in, for example, in the bite or on the brightness. Here, right now, there is no the bite. Here is the bite. So let me adjust. Slightly different. But anyway, if here was already engaged, let me engage again the impulse response. So this is the Aurora DSP. Real amp. Pretty similar, let's say. Now let's go to the Fatal channel, which is the lead channel here. Let me engage it. Again, everything at the noon without the scream. Let's start. Aurora DSP. bump. It's more open. Yeah, they are all attuned. So let's adjust with the high here. It's a different frequency that is missing here on the lethal, because I don't like this super high frequency. Okay, so I really like overall this plugin. I think it sounds really similar to the amplifier. It's difficult to make a comparison because there are lots of builds that have been done in the past about the Framus Cobra. Mine is also a bit modded. One thing that I don't like also about this plugin is that the effects are really too CPU heavy, so pay attention. I can show you. I'm using right now the sample rate of my Studio One, sorry. As you can see, I'm at 128 samples because I tried with 64, which is basically the normal that I use every time, but the CPU started to make some jumps, so 2 artifacts was not very well, only if I engage the effect. So let me show you with 128 samples. So these are my performance. Now let's go to effects and let's engage the shimmer. As you can see, there is this bump is now 24, let's say. If I engage also the delay, I'm going to 27, 29. So it's more or less 10% only with these two effects. And with 128, you have slightly latency. If you don't want any latency, you will have to go here and go to preferences and at least use something like that. I also use 32, but 64 is enough. And I have, as you can see, 1.59 milliseconds, which is basically nothing. Okay, now let me show you. My performance right now is at 100%, and I have a Mac Studio, Apple Mac Studio. So in my opinion, this plugin is too CPU heavy, and this has to be fixed, in my opinion, because without the shimmer, as you can see, 27%, without the delay is 23%. So the shimmer cannot work like this, okay? So there is something that has to be fixed here. Anyway, the plugin works very well, in my opinion, sounds very well, apart for this kind of stuff. You have the link in the description if you want to purchase directly from Aurora DSP and have a great Cobra sound. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.